Hi everybody, this is Gav. Just thought I'd jump on with some good news. I've had people ask how they can support the show, and now a Patreon account for the show has been set up. And you can go there by typing in patreon.com/military veterans podcast, or you can follow the links within the social media aspect or even the website itself. Any support you would give monthly would be hugely appreciated, from 50p to £50 if you had that. But all that money would go straight into the actual podcast, not in my pocket. It would go into maintaining the equipment, keeping the show going on the website, and also helping me travel to the veterans' homes. So yeah, anything you can give would be greatly appreciated. Also, you can contact the show by typing in milvetpodcast.com/contact. And on that page, you'll be able to reach out to me for feedback on a specific episode if you have that. Or if you want to be a guest on the show, you can also reach out that way as well. So just a little bit of an update from me. Enjoy this next episode and take care. Goodbye. Welcome to episode 14 of Military Veterans Podcast, where we talk to veterans to learn about their stories and experiences. And today we're joined by Tristan Dover.
Hiya.
Hey, Tristan. Now that big sigh you might have heard is because we've gone about 20 minutes into it already and I forgot to hit bloody record. So I'm so annoyed with myself, but thanks for coming on the show, really for the second time, but for the first time where we're recording.
Not a problem, not a problem.
Are you feeling more relaxed now?
Yeah, I'm here all day anyway, so...
Jesus. I'm just, I'm annoyed with myself, everybody. And I'm being honest, I'm being open, but Tristan's tried to calm me down because, I got a bit angry with myself. But anyway, we're here now. So, hey, Tristan, thanks very much for coming on the show.
No problem.
And just for anybody out there that may not know you as Tristan, was you known as anything prior to being known as Tristan?
Yeah, Stan.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I also said, and it was quite natural before, but I'm going to do it again. I said that your flags are brilliant. You've invited me here, and if you're not watching this on YouTube, please do, because your flags that you've got up here are just really, really, really cool. Did you want to say anything about them?
I just got them because first, I'm English and I'm proud that I'm English. I'm British and I'm proud that I'm British. So that's why I've got the Union flag. That's why I've got the George Cross. These other two, I'm proud of everybody who's ever served.
Okay.
And that's why I got those two as well. For me, Remembrance Sunday doesn't just happen one day a year.
Yeah. It's a constant thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just, like I said, it's part of me. It's part of who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, well said. And so, like I say, if anybody is not watching this on YouTube, just jump on once you finish listening and just have a quick look. And also, we are not quite outside. We're in a conservatory type thing, but we do have the windows open because it is a sunny day. So you might hear outside noises like dogs or planes, as currently is. So yeah, just bear with us and hopefully you can hear some good stuff from Tristan here. So, Tristan, I'm going to mention the 4 questions that we've done on previous episodes and also just moments ago. I'll say them again and then bullet point answer them, and then we'll go into the deep stuff afterwards, all right?
Yeah.
So those 4 questions are: when did you join? What service and branch did you join? How long did you serve for? And what rank did you get to?
So I joined in 1986, joined the regulars in 1986. I joined the Army Infantry, 1st Battalion of the Queen's Lancashire Regiment, or 1QLR. What was the other two? I forgot the other two.
It was how long did you serve for?
Sorry. So I served for just over 9 years, about 9.5 years.
Rank.
And the rank was a Dizzy Heights of Private Soldier.
Nice. But the most working one, right?
Well, the hardest working one.
The
hardest working one, yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned there you joined the regulars. Does that mean you did something prior?
I initially joined what used to be the TA, the Territorial Army, which is now the Reserves. I joined them in probably about 1983, 1984.
Okay.
Yeah, enjoyed it and thought, oh, why not join the regulars?
Brilliant. Well, before we dive into that, let's go back to the beginning. So where was you born and where did you grow up?
So I was born in a little village in Bolton, on the outskirts of Bolton. I'm not going to mention the name because nobody's heard of it. And as you said before, probably don't want to mention it because it's a shithole. So yeah, I was born and brought up there. I was brought up basically in a house 150 yards away from where I was born, and stayed there until I joined the army at 19, 20,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
So what was your childhood schooling like?
So school I didn't really bother with because I thought I was one of those teenagers that knew everything, and school couldn't teach me anything of what I wanted to do. I wanted to work on a farm. And school couldn't teach me how to milk cows or how to cut grass or raw grass or how to make hay. They couldn't teach me any of that. So I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on a farm. I'm going to go to agricultural college and I'm going to make it from there. Unbeknownst to me, that to get to agricultural college, I needed exam qualifications, of which I failed them all because I didn't bother with them.
Okay. As I said to you earlier, that's exciting because I had the same mindset. I wanted to be a farmer, and I wanted to go to agricultural college and do all that. So what did you do on the farm? Was it cows or pigs or something like that?
So yeah, it was a dairy farm. So they used to have, when I first started going up there, when I was really young, probably started going up there when I was 9, 10-year-old. They had a lot of big dairy herd. They had probably 110, 120 cows, and then they started going into the beef side of things. And the pork side of things, they started getting pigs, started cutting back on the dairy side and getting beef cattle. But I enjoyed it because I was like probably 12, 13-year-old and I could already drive. I was driving tractors around the field in weather like this in the summer.
Yeah.
And you're going around driving in circles, just rolling up hay and cutting grass and doing stuff like that. Who'd not want to do that? People might. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I loved it.
That's cool. It's probably why I passed my driving test straight away because of driving the tractors in the field.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like I say, who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to do it?
And so you mentioned about joining the TA. Any kind of like encouragement to do that, or did something just make you go, you know what, I'm going to do this?
No, I had no encouragement. I don't come from a military background.
Right.
My dad did his national service, but I don't even know what he did in the national service. He never spoke about it. But then again, I never asked him about it because we didn't have a closer relationship. And my granddad, who was I found out since he died, was a sergeant major in the Lancashire Fusiliers. He got out as a sergeant major. I never really spoke to him, and my granddad was he was at that, he was one of those people where they didn't talk about what they did. He was in the Second World War,
right?
But he didn't talk about that. He joined when he joined when he was 13. My mum told me he joined when he was a young lad, really young. He'd run away from home, and he joined at a young age. I've got photographs of him in the hockey team in India.
Already.
So I've got quite a few photographs of him that I've managed to get in, when I started doing my family history. So I've got those, but I never got to talk to him about it. So it's just me and a mate one day, just thought, let's get some few extra bob and join the TA.
What was it, an advert or something you saw?
Yeah, it was an advert in the local paper, in the local evening news.
For anybody that doesn't know what papers are.
yeah, anybody who doesn't know what a paper is, it's the local evening news. Which was, it was a broadsheet back then as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not one of these little tabloid, big, massive, where you had to have an arm span of like the QE2 to open it up. So it was an advert in there. Me and a mate saw it and thought, let's do that then. So we went off and joined the TA. And it was good. It was good fun. I enjoyed it.
I'd never really spoken to anybody that was in the TA before, but
Did you have to do a certain amount of weekends away per year or something?
So yeah, I if my memory serves me right, you had to do 1 weekend a month, a couple of I can't remember what they call them, drill nights a month, maybe
Okay.
1 or 2 drill nights a month, which were on a Wednesday, and then you had to do a 2-week annual camp, and then you get a gratuity. That's the word, the gratuity, and that was something like 300 odd quid for the year. You got paid monthly, but you got full day's pay for turning up on a Wednesday evening. You got 3 days pay for one for Friday night, one for Saturday, and one for Sunday. You didn't do 3 days because you didn't turn up until 7 o'clock or whatever time on a Friday. So you only did probably a day and a half, but you got 3 full days pay for it. And it's for somebody who was like, I was 18 at the time, you're getting that extra money, that extra beer tokens. Yeah, happy days. You're going to keep doing that, aren't you? And it wasn't hard work. The drill nights, turn up, get my name called out, and then you just vegged around and talk. That's all you did. Getting paid for standing around talking. Yeah.
Did you learn weapons or anything like that? Whilst you
You used to do. You did a bit of weapons drill, but not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, the most you did a 2-week basic training at Strensel, because the regiment that I joined was 4th Battalion of Queen's Lancashire Regiment, which was the part-time regiment of the full-time of the regular regiment that I joined. So you went away for 2 weeks and you did a little bit of basic basic weapons drill, a little bit of basic first aid, a little bit of basic everything. And you had to pass your APWT, annual personal weapons test. You had to pass that. So that was the only time you actually got to put live rounds down, was 2 weeks every 12 months.
Right.
You took a weapon onto exercise with you at the weekends and this, that and the other. And that was as hard as it got.
Okay.
So I naively, stupidly thought, well, this is easy. I'll do this full time.
Before you joined them for the regulars, did you have many jobs whilst you were doing TA?
I had quite a few jobs. I jumped from job to job. I started off working on a farm. Luckily, I lived my dream. I worked on a farm when I left school. Did a job on a building site, worked in a warehouse. But there was nothing in the area where I grew up. There was no big career things.
Okay.
I had a paper mill,
Okay.
which my dad used to work in. You had a factory, a couple of factories over the other side of the river, which had become warehouses for bedding, basically, for people like Woolworths, British Home Stores, people like that.
And again, Woolworths, because that's
Yeah,
old school.
yeah, Woolworths and people like C&A as well, probably.
Yeah.
People probably won't remember C&A either. But you go around and pick orders for companies, and it's like, I don't really want to do this for another 40, 50 years. I want to, I wouldn't say I was ambitious, but everybody I knew all lived in that little, like, mile radius of 3 little villages. Everybody lived there. Like I said, my mum and dad were born over the other side of the river in one village, and they moved the other side of the river into another village. I'd lived there for 18 years. My sister, all my family, they were all around there. It's like, hang on, somebody's put some fresh blood in the gene pool, or we're going to be walking around with 11 toes and 16 fingers. And I wanted to get away from that.
Right.
I wanted to spread my wings. I didn't want to stay there. And that was another reason why I joined the military. It's why I joined the army. Not because I had a big fascination about it. I just wanted to get away.
Got it. So you made that step. Was it a careers office that you went to? Or?
Yeah, I went to the local careers office in Bolton. Took the entrance test, and back when I joined up, you had an entrance test. You ask you questions and you answered it, and then from that they'd score you, and they'd say, right, you can go in this, you can go in that, you can go in the other. There's no way you're getting an intelligence corps because you're fucking dull. And you had all them, and so because I'd been in the infantry, that's what I knew, and because the Falklands War was still pretty new at that time, you had the parachute regiment, so it's like, I want to go in a parachute regiment. I want to go in a because that's it, that's the pinnacle, parachute regiment, yay, I'm going to do that. And I remember saying that I wanted to go in a parachute regiment as an officer there, and he said, why do you want to jump out of a perfectly serviceable aeroplane? I said, well, why wouldn't you not want to? And it's a parachute regiment. Well, why don't you join your local infantry regiment? You're already in the TA regiment. Why don't you join your parent regiment? Well, because I want to be a para. That's why. And then from there, you got invited to Sutton Coldfield, where you did, I think it's a 2-day or 3-day physical assessment, where if you wanted to go in the parachute regiment, you did double what everybody else did. And I'd done everything, and I was a fit lad. I wasn't heavy. I wasn't carrying any weight. I was probably 9.5 stone. You know, definitely 9.5 stone. And I'd smashed everything. I was doing the sit-ups, and my girlfriend at the time was pregnant with our first child. And I remember doing the sit-ups and thinking, York, because that's where the Queen's Lancashire Regiment did their training at Strensall, just outside York, or I can't remember where the Parachute Regiment did their basic training, or there, it's somewhere down south, Colchester, around there, I don't know. I want to say around there, I'm thinking around there. So it's like York, Colchester, York, Colchester, York, Colchester. And at the time I'm doing the sit-ups, and I got to 17, I had to do 18, I got to 17, and I got off at 17. And the guy there who was checking what people are doing and counting, he said, is that all you can do? I said, no, it's not, but it's all I want to do. And he went, all right. And then you go for an interview after with an officer, and the officer said to me, because of the answer that you gave us, we're not putting you forward for the parachute regiment, so you're going to have to go in your local infantry regiment. So that's how I ended up in 1QLR. Yeah.
And then you went to basic training.
I went to basic, yeah.
So my question there is, because you were in the TA, did they treat you any differently? Did you get fast-tracked on anything?
No. You get treated the same. You don't get treated any different to what you do as a normal recruit.
Okay.
In fact, probably you get treated a little bit worse because you're expected to know it, and it's like they shouldn't be training you. But like I said, the TA, or back then, the TA was massively different than the regulars.
Right.
I mean, a couple of names you used to have for the TA back then was SAS, Saturdays and Sundays,
Right.
and Weekend Warriors. And it was two different, like night and day. I suppose when you're in the TA, you're still a civvy, basically. So they've got to be wrap you in a little bit of cotton wool, be a little bit softer with you.
Right.
But when you join the regulars, no, that's out the window. You belong to us now. You've took your shilling. You've signed on the line. You've read your oath of allegiance. You belong to me now.
You got a shilling when you joined?
I got a shilling. An old one as well. It wasn't like one of these old 5p pieces. It was one of these, like a size of a wagon wheel.
Wagon wheels. Oh, you're going down memory lane now, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've shrunk in size as well, you know.
They have, haven't they?
Yeah.
I like the jam one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going in sidetracked here. So basic training, did you enjoy it? Was that a good thing for you? Challenged?
It was. Like I say, it was. I thought I knew what to expect when I got there, rocked up, got off the white bus that they picked you up at the train station. Got off there with other lads, and I thought, I know what to expect because I've done this before. But no. and I soon melted into the background. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I soon thought, do you know what? No, I'm keeping my trap shut here. I'm not going to shout out about this, that, and the other. And I'm going to listen. I'm going to learn. But it was massively different, but good, enjoyable.
You enjoyed that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching you getting fitter and fitter as you went on. I thought I was fit. I thought I was a fit lad. Nah. Nowhere near it.
Did you shine at anything because of being in the TA, or?
I don't know whether it's because of being. I was in the TA, but I got best at NBC and best at first aid, and that's probably because I don't like the sight of blood. So I like cover the blood up quick as possible, so I don't have to look at it. And the thought of having bumps and boils coming out of my skin, that doesn't really impress me either. So it's get the gas mask on as quick as possible, and do your urination and defecation drills as quickly as possible, because you don't really want spots going on your arse, do you?
Back then in the 80s, did they use gas chambers and CS gas or anything different?
Yeah, so you had the CS gas, you had the CS pallets, which they were fun. And there's one particular time I remember coming out of the gas chamber, and one of the lads who got, I'm not too sure whether he got kicked out or whether he PVR'd. He'd had a fallout with our platoon sergeant, and I remember him going up to him and punching the platoon sergeant in the face while he had his gas mask on still.
Right.
So yeah, and then he melted into the background, and we got one hell of a beasting on the parade square.
Oh, the old blanket punishment.
Oh yeah. Who did that? One suffers your idol. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was, and that was the days when they could punish you as well. You know, where it wasn't a case of I am now going to adjust your dress, and they put your KF shirt collar, the fucking lamb's wool thing that used to itch you to bits, and I'm now going to adjust your dress. No, it's like fucking drag you around. You look like a fucking tramp.
Yeah.
It was that back then.
Yeah.
Which I suppose people who joined up earlier than me would think you had it easy.
Yeah.
Back in my day, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, definitely different generations, definitely. Yeah. So you finished basic, and then you go do your first unit, I'm guessing. Where's that?
So I went to 1QLR who were in Allenbrook Barracks in Paderborn. And that was August 1986. I went there.
Okay.
And first time I've been abroad. I've never been out of England. My holidays were Blackpool.
Oh, right,
50 mile up the road from where I live. Yay, sunny Blackpool.
Yeah. I was stationed out in Paderborn. My second posting out in Germany was Paderborn, Barker Barracks.
Yeah.
So down the road from yours.
Yeah.
Yours still there now?
No, it's been knocked down. Which is. It's a shame because there are a lot of memories that I have from there. I got sent to the battalion 7 days before my 21st birthday. So I was still growing up. So I have a lot of, that's where I formed who I was. I got to the battalion, and that's how I became who I am. And so Paderborn and Allenbrook Barracks has a lot of good memories for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's it like turning up as a newbie in those barracks?
So we were quite lucky. There was 10 of us got to the battalion, and we was quite lucky because the battalion was on summer block leave. So we had a week to prepare for regimental baths and bed legging and stuff like that. And the other good thing was when we left basic training, we were still doing bed blocks on our passing off, on the morning of passing off the pass-out parade. We still had to make bed blocks. So you get to battalion, it's like, no bed blocks. Duvets? Bonus. So it was great in that respect, and being able to get to know a few people that were left behind on rear party and stuff like that. The bad boys, if you like, that have been stuck on guard duties. So getting to know a few of the people like that, and still having, being in a room with mates that you're in basic training. Like I said, there was 10 of us that went. Four of the lads went to rifle companies. We got sent. 6 of us went to support company. Went straight into mortar platoon, which is. It doesn't normally happen. It's usually you've got to spend a minimum of 3 years in a rifle company before you actually get to go to support company.
Okay.
Because that's seen as a as a cushier job for an infantryman, because you haven't really got any trenches to dig in mortar platoon. You got your mortars, your Milan and Recce.
Right.
So it's usually the senior soldiers that go there,
Okay.
and not the sprogs. We were lucky. So that was good.
Yeah, I think I said to you on the previous recording. Also, I'm just going to check, make sure everything's looking good.
Yeah,
It's looking good.
cool.
But yeah, I said to you before, like being engineers, I didn't really have any mates within the infantry. So
Yeah.
I don't know the deep, dark depths of the infantry. So you mentioned there where you go to different areas.
Yeah.
Do you have any say in that typically? Or is it like you just get told what to do?
No, I have no idea who they choose, who goes where. But we ended up turning up at battalion headquarters. I can't remember who met us, and they just called the names out.
Okay.
There, you're going to A company. There, you're going to B company. There, you're going to whatever company. And then they call it, right, okay, these following people, right, you're all support company. And even as an infantry soldier, you've no idea what your structure is. You're told that you're going to a rifle company. Basic training, you're going to a rifle company. So A company, B company, C company, support company. So, I don't know. So it wasn't until we thought, well, right, well, we got to quite cushy.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to a rifle company. So that was good. It was good. I met some good lads as well.
That's
made
cool.
some good friendships.
So first unit, do you go away anywhere?
So got there in August, started training for Northern Ireland around about October time when people had come back from summer leave and everything started ticking over as normal. I started training for Northern Ireland, which we went to in February. Was it February? I think it was February, March time, 1987. And something that I forgot before that I've just remembered is when the Herald of Free Enterprise went over. I don't know whether you know that, from the hook of from Rotterdam or Stan, can't remember. When that ferry capsized, some of the guys who was in my regiment were on that, and unfortunately, some of them, one of the guys lost his wife on there. And that was a bad time for the regiment. You're getting ready to go to Northern Ireland, and everybody's fired up to go to Northern Ireland, and you start off on a back foot already. Your regiment's already had, bad news. But I enjoyed Northern Ireland. It was good. So we went there in February, March time.
Which part?
We went to West Belfast.
Okay.
So North Howard Street Mill, Fort White Rock, and Gilwood Park. Gilwood Park was known as Slipper City because they had it easy. Easier than the other two companies, but I wouldn't say that they had it easy. In retrospect, in fact, it was quite a bad time. We lost a couple of guys during the tour. One within the first week, and another one around about May time. But there was other guys that had been shot and what have you. And it was I remember reading somewhere that at that time it was the height of the Troubles, and during the time that we were there, they'd had more incidents in that time, that 6 months that we did our tour, than they had done at any other previous time.
Really?
Throughout the history of the Troubles. So it was quite a bad time in one respect, but a very proud time as well, and that we dealt with those incidents, and that the regiment only lost 2 guys and not more than that.
And being your first tour, did that teach you a lot?
It did. I went a boy and I came back a man.
Yeah.
Definitely. It does teach you a lot. It teaches you. I think it builds you as a person, and it grows your friendships. And you know that you can trust people. You know that people have got your back. And I've got an immense amount of respect for everybody who's ever been over to Northern Ireland. Immense amount of respect, whether they've been out on patrol or not. And that doesn't mean to say that people who've been all over places, I haven't got respect for them. I only know Northern Ireland. And you hear people that say it was the Troubles. It was a war. I don't care what anybody said, it was a war. You knew who the terrorists were, but you couldn't do anything. Your hands are tied. And there's nothing you can do. And to have to operate under them conditions, it's not fun.
No. Challenging and frustrating, probably.
Very, very frustrating. But, like I say, it built me. It made me into a man. And it taught me trust. Something that I didn't have for anybody until going to Northern Ireland. And it taught me how to trust people.
Yeah. Talk about Band of Brothers, right? And that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
6 months out there.
Yeah.
You go back to Germany, is that right?
Yeah, went back to Germany. I was there till 1991. Went to BATUS, to Canada.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was good. Canada was good. Became part of the boxing team. I think, actually, we did the intercompany boxing during the Northern Ireland training, so probably back in the 1986. Joined the boxing team, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was great because we used to get certain privileges and perks, like not getting called out on an ORT call out, operational readiness test.
Okay. What was that for people that aren't aware?
So basically, when the Cold War was in, when the Russians were the arch enemy, you get called out at ungodly hours in the morning and have to get all the vehicles, all the kit on the vehicles, onto the back square. Then you go out to the training area, the Gold Run or whatever it was called, just outside of Paderborn. Is it in Senlager? I can't remember.
No, I think Gold Run I think is just on the top part of Paderborn.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Senlager.
Yeah.
Reminiscing here, but
So we get called out there. You get called out there, and you'd have to, dig your trenches, set your mortar vehicles up, get your mortar line set up, and everything like that, and get everything into position, and you'd be on the clock. But when you was on the boxing team, you got away with that. So you get like senior private soldiers or full screws who come and wake you up. And I'm a sprog. I've been in the battalion 3 months, 4 months, and I'm like, I don't have to get up. I'm part of the boxing team. Fucking hate you. Leave me alone. I've just come back from one. And I remember getting woke up one night, and my first company sergeant major was a guy called Terry Birchall, Terry Notebook. Great guy, loved boxing. He had a nose all over his face where he'd been punched out many times on his nose, but he loved boxing. He loved the boxing team. And I'd come back from somewhere, he'd give me a week's off, give me a week's leave. And I got called out, and I remember a full screw coming, waking me up. Get up, we're being called out. I don't have to get up, I've got a week's leave. Fucking get out of bed, sprog. I don't have to get up. Sergeant Major Birchall said I don't have to get out of bed, he'd give me a week's leave. If I go and ask him, I come back, how fucking lever you? And I'd go and ask him if you want. I got back under my duvet and snuggled down and went back to sleep. Come back in, kick me bed, bastard. And it was great. So you got away with a lot. You went on muster parades in tracksuit. You got 2 breakfasts, you know what I mean? You'd go for your breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning with the guys. Then you do some road work, some fitness training. And you go back and you'd have a brunch, at 10 o'clock, and you'd have steak there for you. You got all the best food. It was brilliant.
Nice. What made you do boxing then?
I'd always enjoyed it. I'd always enjoyed doing boxing. I never did boxing as a kid. I did karate as a kid. Basically, like I said, there was nothing to do in the village we were brought up in, apart from you made your own entertainment. So I went to the next little town and started doing karate. But I'd always loved watching it. And I remember watching Barry Mulligan fighting Eusebio Pedrosa for the world title. I can't remember what weight he boxed at. Lightweight, I think it was. And Pedrosa had held this title for years. Barry McGuigan, knocked the shit out of him. And I had my sister on one side of me punching my leg, and my mum on the other side punching me over the leg, and I bruises all over the leg. But it was great, and I'd loved boxing since then. And it was a time when Ali was, you know, all his name was everywhere, and everything like that. George Foreman and the other great boxers, they were great heavyweights at the time, were all about, their names were all over. And that got me into boxing. So when I got to the battalion, I heard about intercompany boxing. I'm going to have a go at that. You know, I'm stupid, I can take a punch, you know. And I could. I found out I could take a punch off people. And so I was battalion lightweight boxing champion, and I got asked to join, if I wanted to join the boxing team, the battalion boxing team.
Hang on, wait. You just skipped over something. Did you say champion?
Yeah.
You were a champion?
I was a battalion lightweight champion.
Nice.
I have my name, actually, I never said this before, but my name will always be on a piece of silverware that used to belong to the 1st Battalion of Queen's Lancashire Regiment, and probably got passed down. And I had my name put on the lightweight belt, Private Dover Support Company, 1986, and it was the first time somebody's name went on that belt for 20 years.
Nice.
And it was good. I'm not, you know.
It's good to be a champion of something.
Yeah, it was. It was great. And I used to have a picture of me with the boxing, where Support Company won the intercompany boxing champion. We won, out of the 9 fights, we won 7 of them. We won 7 of the championships. And I remember all of us who got the belts had a photograph taken, and unfortunately, I haven't got that photograph. I'd love to have it. I'd love to be able to get, because it was a great memory.
Yeah. So if anyone's listening and has got a copy, you know, get in touch. We'll try and get you a copy. So you did that, and then you went out to Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And then you came back, and then did you follow on the boxing, or?
We did. We went. I went to did a boxing dinner night in Berlin when the wall was up. We drove out there, and it was amazing at the time because the wall was still up, the corridor was still there that went through the old East Germany to Berlin, and it was, for anybody who never went there, it was a corridor. It had these big corrugated iron fences that you couldn't see over. You got stopped at checkpoints. Then you got to Berlin, which was amazing in that the closer you got to the wall, the more oppressed, the darker everything got, the duller everything got, the more you just felt a heavy atmosphere. But you got to see things like Checkpoint Charlie Museum, different museums that had ways and means that people had got through the wall, over the wall, hang gliders, car with that was riddled with bullet holes but had a false bottom in the boot,
right,
where they'd smuggled somebody over that way. Went to the Reichstag, and this was probably, again, the end of 1986, maybe 1987. I don't really remember, but I remember seeing a grave from earlier that year, probably a couple of 3 months earlier than that, of a young woman that had tried getting over the wall and failed. And it really hit home to you how much people wanted to get out of the East and into the West. And she was only young as well. I don't remember her age, but she was only young, probably around about my age, probably 21, early 20s. And it just hit home to you just how much people wanted to get away from that oppression. And they had viewing towers that you could walk up and see over the wall and into East Berlin. And we was meant to go into East Berlin. The guy who drove us there, Eric Martin, he was our PTI, and he said, "Guys, make sure you bring your number 2s because we're going to go into East Berlin." He was a Londoner, so I don't know why I'm doing a Liverpool accent, right? I'm crap at accents.
That was meant to be Liverpool.
Yeah, I know. I was, yeah. And he said, "Don't forget your number 2s because we're going into East Berlin." Right, so we took our number 2s and he forgot his, so we never got to go into East Berlin. But then when I went back years later, it was so different. you know, where the old wall was, and there's still parts of the wall up. I mean, it was 92, 93 when I went there, maybe a bit later than that. So the wall had come down by then, but it had changed so much. It was, fascinating how much it had changed.
So for yourself, you come back from Northern Ireland. Did you then go out to BATUS pretty quickly after that?
We went out off to BATUS, was it November that? We did the last one. We did the last one of the year. So it was either November time, 87 or 88. I don't really remember. But I remember the days being like it is now. Really nice and sunny, really nice Indian summer. But the night times, man, it was freezing. I remember we used to put kerosene on our boots and set fire to the kerosene to warm your feet up. Didn't do like a lot of good for your boots, but it kept your feet warm.
I bet.
And that was good. And the first 10 days, because the wagons over there, anybody who's been to BATUS, you know the wagons over there are crap. They're falling apart. So the first however many days, most of the exercise we spent 3 mile away from camp broke down.
Really?
Yeah. I think we joined the exercise for the last 2 or 3 days. But yeah, again, that's, you know, photographs that I've lost, are long since gone. I have one or two photographs that I've still got. I remember this one time there was the brigade commanders O group where he got everybody lined up and we were all formed up, and the vehicle commander, my vehicle commander, a guy called Vinnie Law, brilliant guy from Wigan, excellent. He was sat on an oil drum that you used to have we used them as toilet seats. So you'd get the oil drum, you cut the bottom out of it, you cut an hole in the top and use it as a toilet seat. And he took it out and he put it at the side of the vehicle and sat on it. And I stuck the vehicle in reverse and backed it up so everybody could see him having a crap. And I remember looking at it, don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare. I just looked down and started laughing and just backed the vehicle up. And I've got a photograph of it because the sort of photographs that as a squad you used to take your mates having a crap. And I got a photograph of a tree because we hadn't seen trees for ages either. So I took a photograph of a tree. So anybody who's been to BATUS, you know how desolate it is and there's nothing there. So I got a photograph of a tree as well. But it was great. I loved it. And then I should have gone to Montana for my R&R because I've always been interested in Indians as well. American Indians. Always been interested in them. I thought I'll go there because I know there's an Indian reservation in Montana. But I didn't. I spent 5 days pissed up in the sin bin instead.
Really?
Yeah. So I never got to go.
What was that for? The 5 days of
it was a bar called the Assiniboia Inn.
Right.
But it was called the sin bin.
Okay.
So everybody called it sin bin. And it was like, yeah. So I spent 5 days drunk in there instead, which was forgetful. Forgetful, yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, it was forgetful. I remember they did a drink called the Paralyzer. I can't remember. I don't know what they used to put in the drink, but anybody who's ever been to the sin bin, they'll have heard of the Paralyzer. And it was like drinking mud.
Oh, no?
Yeah, it was like really thick and gloopy and everything, but it was a Paralyzer. You know, yeah. Yeah.
So, where do you go from there? You're still based out in Paderborn?
So, still in Paderborn. While I was in Paderborn, I put in for a transfer to the Remy.
Okay.
And I was told that I would probably get accepted by the Remy. I went on a BEAMY interview. I can't remember what BEAMY stands for. So I went on an interview and he said, yeah, you're the sort of person we're looking for. Because I'd always had this fascination with cars, with doing things with my hands, with working on the farm. You know, you were forever fixing things, forever fixing tractors and parts of machinery. So I'd enjoyed that. So I put in for a transfer to the Remy. Like I said, the BEAMY sent his recommendations to my CEO, and he said to me, you do realise you'll lose 3 years seniority, don't you? And I said, yeah, I'm not bothered about that. I want to get a career out of it. My CEO, before we left Germany, said that I could go. He let me go, but wait until we get back to England. Till the battalion's transition from Germany to England.
Oh, so you were moving as a battalion?
Yeah, so we were moving as a battalion back to England, Wheaton Barracks in Blackpool. And I got back to the battalion. The CEO said he'd call me up for an interview. I've been there, I can't remember, a good few months. And he hadn't called me up, so I put in for an interview with him, and he said that he wouldn't let me go. And I felt quite let down by the CEO at the time. And so I thought, well, fuck off then. I'd signed for 9 years. So I thought, I didn't pay to join, I'm not paying to get out. But I'm getting out.
Did he say why, though? Did he give you a reason?
He said, basically, the reason he gave me was we were going to be doing 2-year permanent enrolment battalion, which is backwards and forwards to Northern Ireland. It was meant to be 6 weeks in Northern Ireland, 6 weeks back in the UK. Never happened like that. There was one time that one of the companies were over there, I think it was B Company, were over in Northern Ireland. They were on the bus at Aldergrove Airport going out to the plane, and turn the bus round because something's kicked off. It was on the bus, off the bus. So you'd be there for 10 weeks and back over here for a couple of days, then back again.
Right.
So he said, I'm not letting you go. I want every spare hand I've got to be over there and doing this. And I thought, fuck off. This is what I wanted to do that. And at that point, I thought, stuff you. Fuck you. I'm not playing games with you anymore. And although I was still in the army, my head left 6 years before I got out. I did the tours of Northern Ireland. I went backwards and forwards. And then I put in for postings here, there and everywhere just to get away from the battalion because I didn't want to work for them. I didn't want to play games with them. I did 2.5 years in Brecon, and I loved Brecon. It was brilliant.
So what, you got posted to Brecon?
I got posted to Brecon, yeah.
What was you posted to?
I was in the MT platoon. So I was only a driver, but it was good, you know what I mean? You got to see and talk to people who they were good guys, you know what I mean? You get to mix with people that were in 2-2, and you talk to them, and it was good, you know, having a chat with them, and they were coming along doing junior and senior Brecon like everybody else was, and then they'd be like, they'd have a vehicle waiting for them just in case something kicked off, which sometimes it did, or they'd be doing a week's exercise, and then on Friday they'd be jumping in the Range Rover, flying back to Hereford, or shooting back up to Hereford, training. So they weren't, these guys, honestly, I'm not, they're fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
How are you fucking still walking? How are you not dead on your feet yet? Amazing guys, nice guys. You got to talk to lads from my old regiment as well, who were going on senior and junior Brecon, and having a chat with them, find out things were back in the battalion. But even though like your MT platoon, you know, you're normal, you think you, as an infantry soldier, your own MT platoon, you think, knacker. Brecon, you weren't. You were out. You'd be doing the fan dance as an MT platoon because the MT platoon was run by the parachute regiment. So you're fit, lad. You ain't going to get fat. I don't care. You can go out and drink as much beer as you want. I'm not bothered. But you're up and we're running, and you're doing this, that, and the other. And you had the Gurkhas there as well. So you're working with the Gurkhas.
So you got a lot of fizzing.
Yeah. You're not that you wanted to, but you didn't have a choice, you know. We're going up and doing the fan dance.
Yeah. Okay. And just for anybody maybe that's from abroad listening to this, what is that? What is the fan dance?
So the fan dance it's a fucking bastard. That's what it is. I can't remember how many miles it is, but it's a lot of miles.
It's in 20
odd miles.
Something, 22?
Yeah.
Maybe more?
Yeah. So, but we do that once a month. We'd have to do that. We did it once a month. We do the fan dance. Every Friday, we used to do a shorter version of it, which would be up a place where we used to pick the senior Brecon and the junior Brecon guys up, called Cum Goody Car Park, which is the bottom of Penny Van. So we'd go up there over the top, and it was a 13-miler, but we'd have to do that every Friday.
Steep hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was before Jacob's Ladder is now actually stepped. It's a lot easier to get up. Back in when I was there, it wasn't stepped. It was like sheer, and you'd have to pull yourself up, but it was good.
What was it like coming down the other side? Because sometimes coming downhill is harder.
I've done the route once since that we used to do, and it is on your shins. It's a bastard. And going up it's hard work, but coming down, like you say, your fucking toes are going into the front of your boots, your shins are hurting, and it's not very nice. It was horrible. But I enjoyed it. It was a beautiful posting.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful posting. Nice part of the world to live. Great bunch of guys. Some nice cycling weather. It was like the time when mountain bikes had only just kicked off, so everybody had a mountain bike. And you go up there, you go over to the base of Jacob's Ladder, and then you go down the road, what's called the Roman Road, that went round to Talibon Reservoir and cycle all the way up through Talibon. You go canoeing along the canal that was just outside of Brecon. It was great.
Is it true that it rains a lot in Wales?
It rains a lot, and Senny Bridge training area is a shithole.
Yeah.
Even as a civvy, Senny Bridge training area is a shithole. But it was. I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
That's good. And it sounds like you learnt a lot from being there as well, and speaking to people and gaining knowledge from the 2-2 guys.
Yeah, you do. You learn a lot, and it's like anything, isn't it? If you're willing to learn and you want to learn things, and you've got a passion for something, then you want to listen to people. You want to listen to what people go through and stuff like that. And you think, fuck, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
How'd you do that? How'd you put your body through that and want to carry on? And anybody who's ever done it, I take my hat off to them. Really do. Anybody who's done it and failed, I take my hat off to them.
Because even putting yourself forward for special forces is a big step.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Anybody who's done it, I take my hat off to them. Really do. Nothing but respect for them. But yeah, it was good. It was good, and like I say, I made some good friendships there. Met some nice people.
So you do 2 years there, and then what? Do you go back to normal area?
I went from there. I went to the recruiting team in Preston, KDRT. It was called King's Division Recruiting Team in Preston, where we went round and mugged people off basically in schools and said, "How wonderful the army is, and it's brilliant, and you want to join because we love it." And it's great, and they'll do this for you, and you'll get 3 square meals a day, and you get that in prison, but do you know what I mean? So it was good, passing your knowledge on to younger people who might be interested in the military, life in the military, and yeah, I miss, as much as I'm sort of like saying I left the army. I loved the army. I hated what had happened to me, but I love the army. I miss it. I miss it a lot. I miss that friendship, that camaraderie. And if I could go back and change anything, the one thing I'd change is I wouldn't have got out.
Okay.
I'd have took it like a man on the chin, like I should have done, and carried on instead of just throwing my hand in. So I was, imparting what I'd learned and what the army meant to me to these other kids, and doing problem solving with them,
okay,
and stuff like that. And that was good. I enjoyed it, and so I did quite a bit of time there, And then Berlin was getting handed back to the Germans. So there was a lot of parades going on here, there and everywhere, and the battalion was doing a lot of parades, and they wanted as many people back at the battalion as possible. So everybody was on a posting. Not everybody, but a lot of people that were on postings got pulled back to the regiment.
Like yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I ended up going back to the battalion in Berlin. I did 6 months in Berlin, which, like I said, I'd been previously. I'd spent a couple of days there. It was good. Went back and did 6 months there, and it was great. I loved it. It was a good 6 months. But it also opened my eyes up to how much battalion life had changed and how much people who had joined the army had changed.
Right.
When I joined, when I was in the mortar platoon, there was a few of us that hung around together. And come the end of the month, you chuck your money on the table. Whatever, you might have 2 marks, you put it on the table. You might have 100 marks, you put it on the table. And we split it between us, and we went out and we got shit-faced. Or as shit-faced as you could get on whatever money was there. And that happened at the end of each month. And it wouldn't be the same people at the end of each month who'd go, right, well, I've got 100 marks left. So it'd change, you know. That person who put 10 marks in last time might put 100 marks in this time. The person who put 100 marks in might put 2 marks in. So it was good. There was that bond there. There was that friendship there. And then when I went back, that friendship had seemed to disappear. You know, I remember a lad saying to one of his mates, can you lend me 10 marks or whatever, an amount of money till the end of the month? It was only for 3 days till payday. And no, I can't. I've only got X amount. And I thought, oh, you tight bastard. He's your mate. You share a room with him. This was in the days before single-man rooms, you know, 4-man rooms. And it's like, you share a room with him. And you won't lend it, you tight bastard. And I remember giving him the money. I said, here, there's whatever you wanted. I said, I want it back on payday. I don't want to come looking for you.
Yeah.
You come and find me and you give it me back. That's how it works. And I remember thinking, looking, I thought, I wouldn't go to anywhere with you lot. I wouldn't want any of you watching my back because I don't trust, because if you fuck off. And it was at that time I thought, right, that's it. As soon as I hit my 8-year point, I'm terminating my contract.